Alright, welcome back to more Standard on Arena with me, Autumn, aka Rainy the Witch. The Pro Tour just happened, and former world champion Paolo Vito Damaderosa had a really solid performance with a kind of wild Izzet decklist that I wanted to give a spin on stream. Of course, Vivi, one of the most exciting cards from the Final Fantasy set that's just been released. You cast spells, you get counters, this lets you make mana. Really absurd mana engine that also acts as a win con. One of the most powerful cards in Standard right now. And people are playing this in Izzet Prowess. This deck's a bit different. This deck is really looking to maximize Vivi more than anything else. However, unlike Izzet Prowess where it's just a good card, here it's hoping to be an absurd card. So if your Vivi dies, you have Soul Cauldron to rebuy the Vivi effect on a different creature. The Vivi grows not just off drawing cards off Winternight Stories, Lightshatter, FOMO, Dragonhunt, but also grows off your Profts Eidetic memory, which means the Vivi gets bigger even faster than normal. Crazy large Vivi. On top of that, you can then convert your Vivi into a really efficient kill with Voldaren Thrillseeker, either by casting Thrillseeker and putting counters on Vivi, or by using Soul Cauldron to give Vivi Thrillseeker's activated ability. So this deck seems really sweet. We've also got some of that core that we saw in some of the Oculus decks here. So we've got the FOMO Lightshatter package with Mako. So your shark grows bigger real fast. Of course, Dragonhunt and Winternight Stories also pumping the Mako. So I was always really impressed by Profts Eidetic memory. In Oculus, I think Vivi's obviously been an impressive card. Let's get down to business and see how Vivi performs here. I put up articles, sideboard guides, matchup guides there every week or two, generally. Currently, we have a guide for modern Team Eldrazi up there. We do have some outdated Izzet Prowess stuff. I haven't updated it for a couple of weeks, just because the format has been in such intense flux because of the ban and restricted announcement coming up. But I'm hoping as soon as that ban and restricted announcement has happened, that I can continue to start to make standard content again, because I really enjoy doing that and people seem to enjoy reading it. Yeah, good to have you all here. Oh no, the spell pierce into Vivi is brutal. Oh my goodness. That's a very important spell pierce. Otherwise we would have like Tersa discarded Vivi, made 4 mana. I teach you how to make even stupider decks. I mean, that's a high bar to pass, Jen. Hope some cards show up in the ban restricted announcement. I feel like that's pretty guaranteed. You're not sure if it is. I think it is. The Pro Tour, Mono Red had over a 60% win rate, and Mono Red and Izzet Cutter were the entirety of top 8. It would be unthinkable not to act something. And I'm someone who normally does not advocate for bans very much. But like, actually unthinkable. Yeah, all top 8 decks ran Rage and over half had Cutter, exactly. Exactly. Oh, do you think this Vivi card's good, chat? Find out this week. Dealt 10 to us this turn. Made 1 million mana. At least we have this Flood Maw. It's pretty nice. So this is pretty tasty. We can go bounce Vivi, cast Soul Cauldron, make some mana, cast Tersa, discard Thrillseeker question mark. Discard Thrillseeker probably. It's fine. Targets. Thrillseeker. Put a counter on Vivi or Tersa? Probably Vivi, I guess. Not very clear though. Alright. Yeah, we are comboing, Tony. We're doing a lot of very silly nonsense with Soul Cauldron. Indeed, Eggwitch, indeed. Yeah, Vivi was like clearly the most powerful card in the set, right? Lots of people reckon that to be the case. Yeah, you didn't see a Yuna deck at the PT. I might play some Yuna later this week. Yuna is probably the deck I'm enjoying the most at the moment. Obviously not the best deck in Standard, but a very fun deck. Oh, already has the ability because of its counters. Yeah, that's a good point. I just figured then I'd make more mana with my Vivi, which sounded pretty interesting to me. Mountain Wild Ride Lethal. Jeez. Yeah. Would have been unpleasant. Alright. I already have a creature in the yard, already have a Thrillseeker under the Cauldron. I guess I can just discard these. We can mix mana. Oh my goodness. 4C. Thank you for the 46 months. Oh. Genuinely, your resub messages bring me so much joy. They all read like such nonsense to my haven't been very math pilled in a long time brain. I guess for the YouTubes, since maybe didn't pop up. 46 months, that's like the smallest composite number with a multi-digit prime factor where each digit is itself prime. I agree. I'm always saying this, honestly. Alright. Playing the Vivi mirror. Fascinating. I assume I want these Lithomantic Barrages. Especially because it puts Vivi in the yard for my Cauldrons. Oh, really, Avalan? Huh. Thank you for the link. I am here for any appearance of Yuna in these decks, so... On Naya Yuna. Okay, we're playing this week. Every Yuna deck is immediately moved up the queue. That's how this works. If you want me to play a deck, just find one with Yuna in it. Hey, Sunfief. I was not at the Pro Tour, sadly. Alas. What am I meant to trim here? I feel like Flood Maw might be necessary against Vivi, but we already have Barrage Abrade. Yeah, I've not been queued for the PT for about a year now. I fell off the train in Seattle. I don't know, just trim some things. Trimming Mako might be illegal. They went 3 and 6 and constructed. Look, I still want to try it. I was in the Pro Tour of your hearts. Aw. You are very sweet, Sphere. Yeah, it's weird. I was on the Pro Tour consistently, like every single one for 7 years. But once you fall off, it's like remarkably hard to get back. I don't really want to run Profts into Pierce, so I could just FOMO instead and discard the Mako. It's a little bit weird FOMOing before memorying because then we miss out on the memory counter from playing the FOMO, but our hand is so strange. Anyway, get in for 2, hopefully. Pro Tour of our hearts is much better, doesn't involve being in Vegas. It is true that being in Vegas is basically the worst. Cannot recommend. Everyone with their Soul Guide lanterns today. Jeez. Crazy stuff. Almost want to go Thundering Fool's Go. I can Abrade a Vivi, I can Spell Pierce a stock up. I avoid running head face first into their Pierce. Seems reasonable. Hey, the thing I was talking about happened. What do you know? It's just that easy. Now we get to grow them the FOMO with our Profts. Very nice stuff. We found the good card. I am excited that one of the Magicons next year is in Europe. Like, I'll probably end up going regardless of if I queue for the PT or not. Okay, that's a pretty good card. But I'm on 20. I think it's in Amsterdam, Sunfief. I believe it's in Amsterdam. I really want to kill this Corey Steel Cutter is the problem. It'd be so nice to get the Vivi going, but I guess Vivi's going to be a 0-3 and just die to everything. Yeah, they did have one in Barcelona a little while back, which is like... The venue was like being in an inferno, but Barcelona is gorgeous. I don't know. It sucks to like not be achieving more here, but I feel like killing this cut is pretty important. I really hope so too, TSS. I really hope so too. The Utrecht was such a success. Was Utrecht bigger than all the US ones? I think it might have been. Like, after how big Utrecht was, I have to imagine they're going to be super keen to have more European ones. Convention venues in the US are like stepping into an icebox. Yeah, that's true, Huzzle. That's true. Although, obviously, that's not ideal either, but I do see that as less bad because you can at least, like, you know, put on a sweater or something. Wow, I am regretting not barraging a token right now. A little bit spooky, but it'll be fine. Get to discard enchantment artifact. Draw 2. Really worried I'm gonna die if I don't hold back a blocker. Also feel it's slightly illegal for me not to attack with both. Because otherwise it's so easy for them to survive in my next turn. It feels pretty important to be representing like paths to lethal here. This might be a weird take, but I kind of feel like it doesn't matter when in the year you hold your convention in Vegas. That might be a truly unhinged take, but it's not clear to me how much of a difference it makes. Like, you spend 90% of your time indoors. You know? Yeah, and it's hot year round. It's like, yeah, it can be like 10 degrees cooler at a different point in the year, and it will still be hotter than it ever is where you normally live. Like, I don't know. Oh, that's interesting, Avon. That's a good point. I've never had that happen at Vegas conventions for me. Well, that's a good point. If that happens, that's like genuinely a problem, right? For sure. Oh, hey, Artos. Glad you find it cozy. I'm hoping it'll be even cozier at some point. I want to like paint this room and such. Okay. I mean, that was a pretty good draw. Alright, alright. Still got it. Let's go. Hey, Scooter. Oh my god, down to 5. I feel like this is probably a deck that mulligans exceptionally poorly. I'm actually gonna get rid of this Abrade, I don't know. We have a plan here. I just want to hit third land on turn 3. Yeah, that makes sense, Puzzled. That's a good way to approach it. That's healthy. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm so excited. This is gonna destroy my reputation as a Magic streamer. Apologies in advance. I'm so excited. The DLC locations for Lorcana are announced this weekend. Let's go. I'm like legit so hype about this. I believe DLC stands for Disney Lorcana Convention. It might be Tony, yeah, the DL5. Somehow the breakout. Oh, and shocking news, my hand that didn't interact with the board for the first 10 million turns is dying to mono red, so, you know, there's that. Fascinating. Mouse squares in your area. Alright, if they don't have Monstrous Rage or Magic cards. Yeah, I'm curious about that too, Castrol. I'm very curious about that. Yeah, Lacana's a sweet card game. I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to the rotation. I've only started playing recently, and I'm quite hype about the fact that rotation is happening. Because the first two sets are like wildly higher power level than everything else. And I think like, you know, classic early card game design, right? And I'm kind of hyped for it to be like down powered a little bit. But I think it's really fun. Gameplay is like actually fairly interesting because of the inking system. Alright. Unsurprisingly, our Multi 5 that did not interact with our opponent ever did in fact die. I can technically live. Is it really living? You've enjoyed the bit of Lacana you've played, which is the starter kit and a couple games of precons. Yeah, I did enjoy those. But once I like was trying out the serious decks, I was definitely vibing with it more. Just because like when all the cards in your deck are really good, figuring out how to ink is like fascinating. Like what cards are you going to get rid of from your hand? How do you sculpt your game plan? I feel like the sand doesn't really do much, but I also feel like it has a lot of potential and we can't just mulligan everything. What's the best deck in Lorcana currently? My understanding is it's Steel Song. Which there's a mechanic in the game where you can tap your creatures to sing songs. And Steel Song has a bunch. Oh, I should have attacked first. I missed the damage. They never block, right? They never block. If they block, I'm happy. Whatever. And the Steel Song deck specifically has a mechanic where you can tap your creatures so they can sing songs that are like higher mana cost than normal. Yeah, inking is just putting cards face down, so you don't have lands. But like 80% of the cards can become lands if you need them to. Oh my god, we're going to attack them so much next turn. I kind of just want to bounce this Challenger as a tempo play. And then fire off Tersa and murder them. Yeah, I guess singing is kind of like convoking in a way. Actually, singing is very similar to Winternight Stories and how it plays. That like flashback mechanic, I guess. Yeah, Castro's true. Some of them are very off-putting for that reason. I know, like, in theory, I would love Flesh and Blood, but I kind of refuse to spend that much on a standard deck when I'm getting into a game for the first time. Like, why would I ever spend that much, you know? Unless I was, like, already heavily invested. So... There's no best deck in Lorcana because I'm playing MTG. Correct answer. Correct answer. The best deck in a card game only exists if I'm streaming that card game. Yeah, it's a little more like Harmonize. Yeah. How is the Lorcana meta? I think there's probably like 3 or 4 tier 1 decks. There's a lot of stuff you can do. The fab rotation system seems good for the game, but terrible for wallets. I 100% agree. I could not possibly agree more. Like, if you're looking at, like, making a rotation system for a game be as good as possible for gameplay, the way Flesh and Blood does it is how you should do it. But also it makes it like wildly inaccessible in terms of like cost. So, you know, very obvious downside. I don't actually know, Jamura. That's a good question. I assume there must be some sort of fan thing out there. How does Fab do rotation? So I believe how it works is on top of normal rotation, you also have the champions rotate by entering this like Hall of Fame thing, essentially, where once it wins like 1,000 events, it rotates, and they keep track of how many events they've won, so you can like see, like, okay, this champion's won like 400 events, so you know, I can pick up this deck and have it for a while, and then if it has a big win surge, you know, that's gonna like affect it too. It's interesting. Oh, there's no normal rotation. Ah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. I did not realize that. Yeah, but the champion rotation is like legitimately amazing in terms of like keeping the game changing and stopping people from complaining that this champion needs to be banned as soon as possible. And it's legitimately awful in terms of buying into the game in any conceivable way. Yeah, that makes sense, Callie. For me, a big part of like why I've been... I guess they could rage me, but they still just trade. That's fine. But for me, a big part of the reason for checking out Lorcana was just wanting to have more events to go to. Because, like, I don't know, this year there's been like 3 regional championships in Europe and 2 spotlight things. It's just not many, right? I would like to have a bit more going on. So, oh, it's not 1,000 all time, it's 1,000 in the last 2 years. Yeah, so it has to be in like a small period of time. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Kind of just want to like kill one of these. Don't know which one. I kind of feel like it should probably be the Ember Heart. Yeah, that's true. I'm going to be going, like, even if I don't queue for the PT, I will be going along to the Magic Con for that. Hey, Fran. Wow, immediately punished. Although the Mage Rain Lizard isn't that scary with my current hand. I will say, Magic Con Adventure, heck yeah, Vivi. Heck yeah. Do I play out the Mako? I kind of feel like I probably do. Yeah, this list is really cool, Fran. List is super cool. I've been enjoying it. Maybe this Profts is better than this Vivi at this point. We don't have that many spells to trigger Vivi with, and like 2-mana spells are kind of more appealing than 3-mana currently. We're also just kind of killing them with our creatures, so growing one with Profts sounds pretty nice. Ah, that makes sense, Kestrel. Thank you for explaining it. It's nice to understand it a bit better. I understood the basic concept, and I thought the basic concept sounded really cool. But knowing some more of the details is nice. I don't know, if they want to chump block, I'm pretty happy. I imagine if I end up playing in the Magic Con proper, I would just end up playing a bunch of the like PTQs and Secret Lairs. But the unknown events do seem really sick. I'm missing their 3rd land has not been a good time for them. Huh. Alright, I believe we are now 2-1. Deck's doing alright. This might get us to Mythic. That would be nice. Been a bit of a slow run to Mythic this month. I guess I skipped a few streams early in the month. And was like messing around with new Final Fantasy deck.